Violence and Femicide as an...
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker, and let me thank the House on behalf of the IFP for this opportunity. House Chairperson, each year during the 16 Days of Activism campaign for no violence against women and children, this Parliament for a brief moment stops to consider the national crisis that is gender-based violence. For a brief moment, we recognize that our women and children are under siege. For a brief moment, we declare our renewed commitment to fight this brutal war. For 16 days, we cry with the parents who have lost their daughters. We cry with the children who have lost their mothers. And we cry with the friends who have lost their classmates. For a fleeting moment, we remember Anine Boysen, Jocelyn Smith, and Uyinene. For that brief moment, we share the pain of their fathers, their mothers, and their grandmothers. Then, as the 16 Days of Activism campaign draws to a close, we continue with business as usual, only to return to the next 16 Days of Activism campaign to say exactly the same things, to lament exactly the same failures, and to quote exactly the same statistics. And the statistics speak for themselves. South Africa is one of the most unsafe places in the world to be a woman, with levels of violence comparable to countries at war. In just 9 months last year, SAPS recorded more than 31,000 rape cases. That's 113 cases every single day, almost 5 an hour. And remember, these are just the reported cases. How many more go unaccounted for or are just simply lost in a broken system? Then in the first 9 months of 2024-2025, 2,804 women and 902 children were murdered. These are not just statistics, honourable members. These are lives and loved ones, futures and potential extinguished by brutality. A recent newspaper headline put our grim reality into perspective when they asked the question, "Where are your children, South Africa?" According to SAPS, on average, 1 child is reported missing every 5 hours. Over 16,000 children went missing over the past 18 years, with approximately 4,000 children never found. What does it say, honourable members, about us and our society when our children can simply vanish? The IFP has a clear vision for how we can turn this tide. The IFP believes that we need to address the gaps where they exist, and we need concrete action tied with real political will to beat this national crisis. Firstly, we need to invest in our police force. We need to provide them with better training, more resources, and the capacity to truly protect our communities. The IFP believes that we need to fund and support NGOs and NPOs, not defund them. They are on the front lines providing vital services on behalf of the state to the most vulnerable. Then we need to strengthen the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities. We need to give them real resources in order to drive real change. We need to strengthen the Commission for Gender Equality. They have an important role to play, yet they remain largely invisible and largely ineffective. Then, honourable members, we need to hold to account departments that fail our women and children, starting with the Department of Justice and Education. Our justice system, honourable members, is faltering, from our police stations to our courts. We saw this in the Omotoso verdict. We see it in the delays in DNA testing and the lack of rape kits at some police stations. We see this at the Department of Education that missed its own December 2023 deadline to vet all teachers employed by the state. Currently, only 19% of teachers employed by the state are vetted against the Sexual Offences Register. As a result, our children are at risk. We see these failures in the faces of the trained social workers who are sitting at home. Despite a 2018 cabinet resolution to absorb all social workers trained by the state, by key departments such as health, police, and education, this was simply ignored. We see the failures in the pervasive lawlessness that is corroding the very fabric of our society. We see these failures in the unchecked levels of immigration that poses a safety and security threat to our nation and our communities at large. We must ensure that rapists, murderers face the full consequences of their action and the full might of the law. Criminals should not be emboldened by impunity. Honourable members, we must today confront the difficult and hard truth. The systems meant to protect our women and children and persons with disabilities are failing them. We can no longer afford to turn a blind eye. We can no longer confine our activism to fleeting moments of national outrage, and we can no longer accept these failures. The IFP believes that regardless of our political affiliation, we must stand united and put women and children at the very center of our focus. For a violent war wages in every street, every community, and throughout the length and breadth of our beloved country. Our people need their elected leaders to step into the fight by playing our part. Together, we can win this war. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable van der Merwe. The next speaker is the Honourable Deputy Minister